Alright, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to Gregtech 5. Um, Briarios gave me a new update for his Gregtech add-on mod, which is Gregtech expansion, and it is now configurable to make the portable barrel, not mobile barrel now. Fix that. To be 16 to 64 millibuckets. So depending on the pack you're using, you can set it to what you like. So for here, it's going to be 64. And you can see it took this entire barrel. I'm actually going to change the config for these barrels to only hold 16. Now, to do so, I have to get anything that is in the world that is in them out, or I will lose what's in there, I'm guessing. So for this world, you will have semi-cheap barrels for the Yeo barrels that will be 16. You will have the ones that you have to go to the nether for to get nether quartz to make the 32s here, and then you will have those at 64 as a difference for not needing to make these that will go up to 64. And I might actually edit it so you can't make the ones above 64. Haven't decided yet. I don't personally use them above 64, but I might actually edit them. Another change that is in this, I guess I ought to go back in here and show this real quick. They are now wrenchable instead of using a drill, which to me made a lot more sense than using a drill. And that is the same for the portable chest, not mobile chest. And I talked to him about the other changes that I discussed in the videos that I had made, and he said a lot of them he was either already thinking about or were good suggestions, and he will work on them, but a lot of what I suggested will take rewrites of a lot of code. So it's not something that he could do rather quickly. You'll notice that my tree farm is now not replanting saplings. That is because he rewrote the code for where it does its saplings. It is now above. So now you can bury your tree farm underground and have it actually put the saplings right above it, like a so, which means that you have all of this room underneath it, or underneath the tree farm itself, to do your piping and wiring, things like that. So you don't have to worry about losing a spot of your tree farm to piping, wiring, whatever. And if you notice, there was a wood cover on the top of my tree farm because I was worried about it catching on or blowing up if it rained, because it is a Gregtech machine, so therefore it should go boom if rain gets on it. And with it being underground now, you don't have to worry about that problem. So now we can actually build a max size, which that block has to be gone due to the wire being there currently, but I'm going to fix that later. But now this is the max for the LV. Now, from what Briario's told me, the medium voltage is 4 layers out from the center, and the HV is 6 or 8 out from the center. So they get bigger as you go up in power. So that is the changes that have been made that I have found so far, or that I can remember that he discussed with me. I am going to put this in my mod pack, release a new update to the mod pack with this video. As far as I know, this is the only way to get this mod pack at the moment. As far as I know, I'm the only one that he's given the pack to test it out. And he never said I could or couldn't release it. So, as of right now, it will be exclusively available through my Dropbox Gregtech 5 mod pack link. And if he is ready for it to go live and doesn't want to put it up on Curse or whatever, I will make a Dropbox just for this mod so you don't have to download my whole pack. But as of right now, I'll put my whole pack, and I'm not doing that so I make anything, because with Dropbox you don't make crap off of it. So there's no way of making money off a Dropbox link. I'm just doing it because it's easier for me to just throw my pack in there rather than make a whole new thing. So, and maybe I'll get some of you guys to try out my pack rather than whatever it is you're currently trying. And you can always take it out and stick it anywhere you want it. Doesn't matter after that. And anybody that's interested in a kind of good read about Gregtech and the way FTB Infinity Evolved Expert Mode are similar, and how people react a lot better to it, you may want to go over to the FTB Reddit and check out the article over there about the recipe changes that Infinity Evolved made. They talk about how absolutely apeshit people went when Greg implemented the 2 planks, 2 sticks rather than 4 planks, 4 sticks that you got in vanilla. And how now Infinity Evolved has done the same thing and nobody gave a crap. And the fact that things cost so much more in Infinity Evolved to make, and people are loving the hell out of it, where things here cost a lot more to make, but they only cost a lot more to make because of the work you have to put into to make a setup to make them cheaper. It's like people are fine with spending a lot to make a block. Like I was reading on there, I haven't played Infinity Evolved yet. I'm actually thinking about trying it out with a few modifications, because witchery, blood magic, that stuff's got to go if I'm going to play it. But it said you had to have something like 6,400 or 64,000 gas tiers to make a creative energy cell. And that is an absurd amount of gas tiers to need to make something. But if you have, a auto spawner to spawn the gas tiers, that's not really that big a deal. It's just time sink of letting the gas sit there, spawn, and get killed. Where nothing that I can think of in Gregtech takes that much to make one block. of anything, it may take 6, 8, 12 different machines to be able to make the material that you need to make that one block. But it doesn't mean you have to sit there and let an auto spawner or something run for a week's worth of time to do it, which is kind of weird to me, because I would much rather spend my time setting up something, even if it fails, like my ore processing here that needs to get tore down and redone. I would rather set up, take the time to set up something like that than just letting a game run on a server doing its own thing to auto kill gas tiers, or gas to get their tiers, to make a stupid thing. And people nowadays in modded Minecraft, everything has to be automatable instantly. It's like they don't want to hand mine anything. They want to be able to put a um, quarry out almost as soon as they spawn in the world, so they can just quarry up all their resources, have it all thrown right into their base, into an AE system where they can just craft whatever they want. And then that makes it to where it doesn't really matter how much something takes, because you can just let the server sit there and run while you're, going out to get a bite to eat, while you're sleeping, while you're going out on a date, while you leave town and go on vacation for a week. And it'll just sit there and do its thing and gather these resources for you. Where the reason why I absolutely love Gregtech is you have to put in the work to be able to get to those types of machines. And even in Gregtech now, with the ore generation change, you really can't even use quarries unless you're just quarrying out the one vein that you find. And if you do that, you're going to get an ass ton of stone, 5 to 7 layers of ore, and then an ass ton of stone. It's kind of useless to do it. Now, what I've actually done, I think it's in the configs for this pack, is my quarries only run for 10 blocks. That way you can set them up right above the vein, run them, they will go through the entire vein and stop. So if you find a vein, the only stone you actually have to mine out around it is the top layer to put the landmarks. And then if you don't need the cobblestone, you can let it just eat the cobblestone as it's setting up the quarry scaffolding things, and let it eat through the thing. And then you've got the advanced miner thing, which will actually get multiple veins, you know and I don't mind that kind of quarrying and auto um, input of material, but just being able to take a quarry out and do a 64 by 64 chunk area, or 16 by 16 chunk area, whatever it is you can set them to max size. And now with ender quarries, they'll actually fill it all in with dirt for you, that it just spawns the hell in. You don't even have to feed it dirt, if I remember correctly. I've only used one like once, and that was long, long ago. It is still automatic dirt. Okay, Junior's telling me it's still automatically just spawns in dirt to put in, which, depending on the pack you're playing with, if you're playing with a pack like this where you can actually get stuff out of the dirt, that's very, very, very cheaty to just spawn in mass amounts of dirt. Like, think about the forestry farms. they need dirt to be able to work. If you're putting trees on them, they convert the dirt to sand as it cuts down multiple trees. So you have to have dirt to feed back in. If you set up an ender quarry with a tree farm somewhere nearby, all you have to do is put that quarry right back on top of that dirt pile, and you can infinitely pick up the dirt. Or you can just sit there with a drill or an excavator shovel or whatever and just mine all that dirt back out and put it right back into your tree farm, where you don't actually have to figure out a way to make dirt. And like with rotary craft that I'm using in Gregtech 6, I have to have dirt to make ethanol. So having to set up a composter to make compost to turn the sand back into dirt, wouldn't be necessary if you had an ender quarry that's just spawning in 16 by 16 chunks of dirt that you can grab quickly. And even if the ender quarry won't dig the dirt, a buildcraft quarry will. So you could take an ender quarry, put it down, have it spawn the dirt in, take a buildcraft quarry, sit it down when it's done, and have it dig up the dirt. You might have a big hole in your world afterwards, but you'd have, infinite free dirt. So, again, I might be preaching to the choir here because y'all play with Gregtech, not the other packs like Infinity and stuff that have these crazy things. But I just thought you guys might enjoy a good read over some of the explanations of why people like Infinity but don't like Gregtech. And one of the biggest ones I thought was hilarious was why people like Mechanism solar panels versus IC2 solar panels. IC2 solar panels are far and beyond cheaper if you're not playing with Gregtech than what Mechanism is. It takes a lot less material to make. But the only complaint the guy had was that you could completely automate the manufacture of the Mechanism versus fully automating the IC2. Because with IC2, you have to change a button on the metal former to go from plates to wires, and you have to change it, or you have to re-put the plates in to make the casings. Apparently, the idea of making 3 metal formers, one for plates, one for casings, and one for wires, is beyond this guy's grasp. Because if I was playing with base IC2 and I was wanting to automate things, that's what I would do. And especially if I'm using something like logistic pipes or AE, because then you could tell it, put the plates in here in metal former number 1. Oh, had to cough, so you all got to look at the planets. Put the ingots in metal former number 1, make the plates, put it back into the system. All right, now I need some tin item casings, put the plates into metal former number 2. I need tin wires, put the tin ingots into metal former number 3, give me my wires. What's so hard about that? That is completely automatable. But apparently, because it's not automatable by the machine doing all the work in one machine, that's not automatable. And this whole thing of making IC2 machines that you're never going to need to make again does not make sense to me. If you play with IC2 alone without Gregtech, I cannot think of one machine that I've ever made that I've only used one time. I use them all constantly to do different things. So I don't understand why I keep reading in those things about how they don't like IC2, because I have to make a machine that I'm only going to use one time. You know, you're only going to use it for one thing maybe, but you'll use it multiple times. So I guess that's my rant and ramble for the day, week, whatever. I will let you guys go now if you're still here listening to my ranting and rambling. And I will see you tomorrow, probably back in Gregtech 6, because I have got to find some iridium. It's iridium or bust in Gregtech 6. Have a good one, guys.